Peace. My name is G-Man of the Law. I'm a music producer, audio engineer. I create videos. Basically a producer. And I'm here to tell my story. My artist name is P Funk City G. I'm originally from Plainfield, New Jersey. I was born in 1968, October 11th, 55 years old. And I was born, in Plainfield, New Jersey. It's a black town, black mayor, and all of the problems of a black city, I came up in 68, so around 67, during the riots, Plainfield was made its name internationally as one of the towns that rioted. There was a racist cop down on West 3rd Street, 3rd and Grand Avenue. Was disrespectful to a black man. Black man stepped up, stood up, and make a long story short, the officer was dead, ended up dead, and that, that caused problems. Police wanted to shut shit down. Gas was running down. Downtown, they had to shut down the town. And it was a long story. I'll do a video about that. I'm gonna have to do some research and talk to some so I can get accurate information. Cause like I said, I wasn't born, but that's what I was born into. That climate. Small black city. Thing that was special about Plainfield was, it's about 20 minutes if you're taking a Lincoln, 40 minutes if you're taking a Highland, and maybe about 50-minute drive to the George Washington Bridge. And so we were close to New York, but not too close, we were maybe 90 minutes from Philly, so those were the big cities in between. Like Philly, we had no Philly vibe, you know what I'm saying? Because, we couldn't even get their radio stations, but we shared radio stations with New York City. And so that's the setup of Plainfield. It's a special town to me because it's like we had our own vibe. We had our own move, and it wasn't really New York, even though we listened to New York radio stations, and but it was special because the big cities in New Jersey is Newark, Camden, Trenton, you know what I'm saying, and we were probably about 20-minute ride, 15 if you speed into Newark, and so we weren't really close to Newark. We had our own vibe. We wasn't like riding nobody coattails. We had our own vibe. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what was special about Plainfield. Plainfield, cat from Plainfield could get along anywhere. I could go to South Jersey, Asbury Park, L.A. I lived in the Bronx. I lived in Brooklyn. I got love. You know what I'm saying? So, it was some ghetto shit too. It was hate and all of that go on, in the hood. You know what I'm saying? But I was able to, move around in black communities. So you come up with Plainfield, you can make it anywhere in the world. That's what was special about Plainfield. So I come from a mother and father. I had mother and father together, married. My mother passed away in 2001. You know what I mean? And no, 2002. I'm sorry, September 15th, 2002. My father's still with us, and strong. And I have an older sister and a younger brother. So I'm a middle child. A lot of the teachers, I get in trouble in school. They hated me in school. That's another story I'll get into at some other time. But right now, specifically, the story is why I left America and moved to So, for to give a little bit of understanding on that, I just, give them a little backstory. And the backstory is, like I said, I was getting in trouble in school, suspended, ran away from home. I was raised, my mother, let me put it like this. My mother started studying with the Jehovah's Witnesses when I was about 6 years old. So I was old enough to see a change. She wanted to like stop doing certain things, and you know what I mean, and I couldn't hang out like I wanted to, and life changed. You know what I'm saying? So in that change, I was still me. You know what I'm saying? About 6 years old, we basically got our own personality traits. So my brother, who's a little younger than me, he's about 2 years, 17 months apart. So he got a different story because he was about 4 years old when he started dealing with that. Coming in, how our life changed once my mother started, studying with him. She became baptized a Jehovah's Witness. When she returned to the essence, she was, Jehovah's Witness. And like I said, I was like other people would say I was bad, but I wasn't really bad. I just always had my own mind. I was never a follower, you know what I'm saying? Always a leader, and so anyway, make a long story short, when I was 12 years old, the big brother, like what cats today say, OG, my OG died. My next door neighbor, he was a big brother to me. He was murdered in the streets. My mother was raised in a white neighborhood. She came from Avon, New York, upstate New York. From my understanding, it's not very far from Rochester, but that far up. And she was, that was like a white town, you know what I'm saying? But she wanted to raise her kids in the black city, in the black, town. So that's how she ended up in Plainfield. And damn. So what happened was, so that's how they ended up in Plainfield. She met my father, and they married, and my father was an Army veteran. Not an Army, not like he fought in the war, but he had, he was in the Army at some point, and hard-working man, very respectful. Everybody loved my father. You know what I'm saying? He was a beautiful, beautiful man. And so coming into Plainfield, growing up in Plainfield, like I said, going through the school system, getting suspended, and all the niggas was always pointing fingers at me. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, just my point of view, but they probably got a point of view where it's like, yo, I just hated that nigga. He thought he was this and he was troublemaker and all of that. But I always thought I was a nice guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm honest, respectful. You know what I mean? And so, make a long story short, when my neighbor passed away, he got murdered. His name was Mister. Everybody called him Mister. You know what I'm saying? He was well known, well respected, well loved in our neighborhood and throughout the town. His family, his father, his mother, all love. He got, brothers and sisters. They all love. They like, royalty, at least in my neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? And so when he passed away, and my mom's coming from a white town, she was like, she wasn't ready for this. You know what I mean? Like she knew Mister. Like in the hood, we neighbors is like family. You know what I'm saying? Like and that family, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say their last name because out of respect, I haven't even told them that what I'm doing. So I don't want to, bring their name in it if they don't want to be involved, and they're uninformed. But we felt that pain. That pain. That was like, like if my fleshly brother, something happened to my fleshly brother, that shit hurt it, And so, my mother was like, yo, I don't want that to happen to my son. So, her being, religious and everything too, like one thing about the witnesses, they are rebellious, you know what I mean? Meaning like, they're fine doing something different. You know what I mean? Like, they don't gotta be like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like their whole move is different. Like they don't care, about making friends outside the organization and all of that. So, my mother was like that. You know what I mean? So when I was in seventh grade, I was getting in trouble. Like I said, I was, in middle school, junior high school, maxing. You know what I'm saying? And I forget, like January 12th, man, my seventh grade year, I ran away from home. You know what I mean? Because I didn't, like I said, I did not like being a Jehovah's Witness. I ain't like that. You know what I'm saying? And, because life had changed. Life was completely different from what I was used to up until 6 years old. Now we couldn't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? And everybody was out, basically. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not a witness, you know, they, they're going to give you respect, but not no, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's go hang out, let's eat dinner, let's travel. You know what I mean? Like, it's like the mentality and the teachers to separate you from the world and prepare for a life that's going to come. Like, when there's no bad people in the world, basically. And so, that's where it was. I didn't enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to like talk to girls. Like, yo, girls would call the crib. My mom would be like, yo, he doesn't talk to the girls on the phone. You know what I mean? She was like, I couldn't go to no parties, nothing. So, you know what I mean? But like I said, I already had that. Like, I was at least street smart. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Some people would say I was a street kid. Some people would say I wasn't. But I was definitely street smart. And so, I'd sneak out the crib at night, you know what I'm saying, and all of that shit. Hang out with, my homeboys who going to a girl, his sister at a slumber party, and that kind of thing. But by 12 years old, it just was real conflicting, you know what I'm saying? I'd be going out, knocking on niggas' doors with the watchtowers and all of that. To, hey, giving this, little thing that's prepared, and it just wasn't me at all. You know what I'm saying? And it was like I was an outsider in the congregation because the kids was like, yo, you know what I'm saying? My government name is Georgie. Yo, niggas was like, yo, don't, like, you can't be around Georgie. Bad association. You know what I'm saying? And so it was like I was always outside. And I'm fine with it now. You know what I mean? That's why I was able to leave America, go to another country, you know what I'm saying? And, you know what I mean? And create a life for myself. And my son. I have a son here. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to make this too long. We're about 13 minutes now. And, it's just an introductory video. You know what I'm saying? It's something new that I'm doing, you know what I mean, trying. And I shouldn't say trying, experiment. So, January 12th, my 7th grade year, I had enough. I was like, yo, man, I can't take this shit no more. And by that time, we was always working, like, my father had to paper out and, different helping people, like, I had to paper out, you know what I'm saying, when I was, at a certain age, probably before I was able to, because I think the older dude in my neighborhood was doing the papers, he couldn't do it no more because he was playing, sports and all of that. So he let me do it in his name. Like, it was his route, but I do it and I get the money, collect the money and all of that. And keep the money, so with my portion. You know what I'm saying? So I was able to save up a couple dollars and I ran away from home, you know what I'm saying? And it was not like I ran away to nowhere, but I ran away, like to my aunt's house up in Rochester, New York. Like my mother from upstate, and her, like her sister who she trusted the most, my aunt Selena. She, probably the closest in age, closer to age, because my mother is the second oldest. So yeah, I believe it's the third oldest. And and her family became Jehovah's Witnesses. My aunt's family became Jehovah's Witnesses because of my mom. You know what I'm saying? My mom's just a leader. You know what I'm saying? So I get leader and all of that. I'm exactly like my mom, just a male version. You know what I'm saying? and my mother's powerful. So make a long story short, I ran away from home. You know what I mean? I took that money. Like I said, we 40 minutes from New York. An hour bus ride. From the corner, Terrell Road and Front Street, within 50 minutes, like I think 52 minutes on the bus schedule. You know what I mean? You're going to be pulling up in Port Authority. You know what I'm saying? Going through towns, picking up people every corner. Like within 52 minutes, you're going to be at the Port Authority. You know what I mean? Gate 222. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so I ran away, you know, took my money, you know what I'm saying? I went, me and my man Victor Rouse, we playing hooky and shit, because we used to play hooky. I used to play hooky all the time. I hated going to school, because I was always getting in trouble. Teachers was always trying to put me in a place. They was always trying to, like, you know what I mean? It was just hell for me, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, you know, we play hooky, and I remember going down to the bank and taking up money out. I had like $40, $39, if it's probably exact. But took that out, you know what I mean? And then like 7 o'clock at night, I was, you know what I mean? Like, I had went over to New York. You know what I mean? I ran away twice, actually. The first time I ran away, it was like I ran away on a Thursday night. But once I got to New York, I didn't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, once I got to New York, I didn't have a plan past that. But now that I got to that point, the second time, I already knew what to do. You know what I'm saying? So I, you know, ran away the second time, went into Manhattan, went into the Port Authority, got off the New Jersey Transit bus, went downtown, bought a ticket. You know what I mean? A bus ticket from Greyhound. From Manhattan to Rochester. And I didn't have enough. But one of the stops was Ithaca. It was before Rochester and it was cheaper. So I bought the ticket from Rochester to Ithaca. And then, you know what I'm saying? But I just stayed on the bus. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, when we got to Ithaca, I just stayed on the bus. I didn't get off. And then, you know what I'm saying? Then we pulled up into Rochester about 2 o'clock in the morning. It was snowing because it's probably, you know, it was in the winter time. And, you know, it was 2 o'clock in the morning. And out there in Rochester, like the bus, you know, station closed. Or at least at, you know, at that time, it closed. So it was closing like at 2 o'clock in the morning or something like that. And, you know, we were probably the last bus. So I was going to call my uncle. The plan was to call him in the morning. You know what I mean? My aunt's house. But since this thing was closed, I was like, yo, I can't be out in the cold. So I called my aunt. I said, yo, auntie. You know what I'm saying? It's Georgie. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, my government name is George. But the family called me Georgie. You know what I'm saying? Nobody called me George. You know what I'm saying? Except people that don't really know me. But my loved ones called me Georgie until my name became G-Man. G-Man of law. But anyway, you know, hey, oh, so my mom's must have called her. Because I think I made a tape, if I'm not mistaken, to her, like, yo, what I'm going to do? You know, I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I'm out of here. And anyway, auntie had her husband, my uncle, you know what I'm saying, come pick me up. Came pick me up. And then I was out there for about a couple of weeks, you know what I'm saying? And then once I came back, you know, it was like, you know, and like I said, we were on the cusp. Like, this was within a few years. I was in 7th grade by this time, but Mr. was murdered when I was in 5th grade. So maybe like this was like maybe a year and a half to 2 years within that window. So my mom was like, yo, you're not going back to school. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause she, you know, of course she thought it was a bad association and this and that, but it was really that I was trying to get away from the witnesses. Not from my mom and not from my family, but just from that, you know, that I just didn't fit into that, you know what I mean, that organization, beliefs. You know what I'm saying? But I still believed in it. You know what I'm saying? I believed that Jehovah was God, you know what I mean, and you know what I'm saying, all of that. It wasn't until I turned 17 that I got, you know, knowledge of self, you know, dealing with the 5%ers. The brother Wakil Law was we used to walk to elementary school together. You know what I'm saying? Like we grew up in the same, you know what I mean? Like same grade, same neighborhood, basically. And so I used to be around them, and that's when I, head to God's building when I got the information. Coming back to seventh grade, January 12th, when I left school, I came back. My mom was like, "You're not going back to school." And so what happened in Jersey at that time, like a child would have to be registered at a school, up until 16. So, make a long story short, for my mom to take me out of school, she had to go to court. You know what I'm saying? Like homeschooling at that time, it wasn't like I don't know nobody else that was homeschooling. I maybe heard of it because there was schools that my mother got into, Calvert and Baltimore. She got a curriculum from them, but we're the only ones that grew up. There wasn't no camp or nowhere you go with other kids that did homeschooling. So my mother went to court. And I'll never forget one thing I heard her tell the judge. It was Judge Hawthorne. He was the Plainfield judge, and she told him, she was like, my son is not going back to school, and she said, and y'all not gonna be picking them up off the street. You know what I mean? Like if I got killed in the streets. You know what I'm saying? That's what she wants. So I don't care. Y'all can take me to jail, whatever. My son not going back to school. You know what I'm saying? That was my mom's. Anybody know my mom? You know what I'm saying? Darling. She called everybody booby, so everybody called her boo. You know what I mean? My mom's was very, very strong. You know what I mean? She was, not strong like these women today. She was strong in her marriage. You know what I'm saying? So my father was the head of the house. You know what I'm saying? But my mother ran the house because my father delegated that to her. So, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, so anyway, making a long story short, she must have won because we never went to school. You know what I'm saying? I was the first one out. Then the following year, my sister and my brother, started, being homeschooling, but they were good children in school. Like they had friends and wasn't getting in trouble. The principal probably didn't know their name, but I was on first name basis with the principal, the vice principal, the secretary, because I'm sitting out there waiting to meet with the principal. So we got cool. You know what I mean? And so I knew the staff. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, like when I would come to school, like in elementary school, like my first day of school, teachers be like, "Oh, Georgie," or no, but they call me George. You know what I'm saying? The government, George. Oh, we're not gonna have that this year. All right. So, you know what I'm saying? That'd be my first, interaction with the teacher coming into school. And so anyway, it was pure hell. So this is, where I grew up into. You know what I'm saying? And then, so we stopped going to school. My mother's homeschooled us for years. You know what I'm saying? I was in 12th grade, so, you know what I mean? And I didn't, I did the homeschooling thing, but we never took a GED or something until I went to school for music. I went to Center for the Media Arts in Manhattan. It was on West 23rd Street. And so to go to that school, I needed a diploma. You know what I mean? So they helped me to get they set me up. They're like, "Yo, you could go here, here, here." But at that time, like, you would have to like enroll, and they act like you don't know nothing. And so they gotta tutor you and all of this. It's like night school or something for you to take the test. But there was one school in Jersey City, and I think it was Byrd College or something like that, but I just remember Byrd in it, you know what I mean, that I had to look up and go to, and so I was able to just go in there without taking no test, taking no classes, and I could just take the test. And fortunately, you know what I'm saying, inshallah, I passed, you know what I'm saying, and, or I should say mashallah, right? I passed, and so I went to school and everything, so I passed and I enrolled, so I was able to go to the school. So I moved into the Bronx, into my aunt's house, when I studied to school, and that's what started me going to school. Um, I should backtrack a little bit, like by the time, because this was, I probably was, I went to school in '93, so I probably was a little older than 21, because from like probably between 18 and 18 and like 22, I was running the streets hard. You know what I'm saying? You know, it was a crack epidemic. It was money to be made. Anybody could sell crack back then. Anybody. You know what I'm saying? All you had to do was just, you know what I mean, get a $50, buy a wholesale. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? And you're in business. So basically, I'll get in. That's a whole, you know what I mean, another video, story, chapter, all that. I'll get into that at some point. You know what I'm saying? But right now, I was trying to set you up to what type of person would leave America. You know what I'm saying? But I did, you know, I was getting locked up. You know what I mean? My homeboys' houses was getting raided. You know what I mean? We was like, you know what I mean? I had a couple spots down on 3rd and Monroe. We was getting money. You know what I'm saying? But it was like but I'm from the east of the Plainfield. You know what I'm saying? So I came back down to the east end because it was just too hot down there. You know what I'm saying? It was just too hot. So I came down to the east end. Some young niggas was looking up to me. You know what I mean? I was about 19 when I came back down to the east end. And, you know, and they wanted to work. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, getting packages. You know what I'm saying? 25. I was giving 25. Because what I was doing was I was giving 25 bottles. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to get banned, but, you know, at the time they was bottles. So you get 25 bottles for, you know what I'm saying? $25. So $10 bottles. That should bring back $2.50. But with the shorts and everything, $2.20. You know what I mean? But what I was doing was splitting the money. You know what I mean? Yeah, give me 25 bottles and bring me back $100. You know what I'm saying? And so, and that led to me wholesaling. And I started wholesaling to the drug dealers, so I ain't even had to even be on the block. I'm just like, you know what I mean? But that's a whole nother episode. I'm not trying to glorify the night. So I ended up doing about 11 months altogether. You know what I mean? Like 2 364s, and then like probation violation. You know what I'm saying? And by 1993, you know, like when I came home from my last like bid, not the last bid because I called it, but my last 364, because I was getting county bids. Got a 364, and my brother was like, yo, you know, he was, like I said, he was a good kid, you know, good student and all of that. So he went to school for graphics or something. Like he was working for People Magazine, you know what I'm saying? So he was like, he saw like, yo, okay, you gotta like get a skill. And so he was like, yo, why don't you do something you love? You love going to school. I mean, you love music, go to school for music. So that's what led me to go to school for music. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming home, you know, doing big, want to change my life. You know what I mean? It was like I was dead end. You know what I mean? And it's like I already knew I didn't want to be in the streets forever. I just, you know, I was planning to be out by 28. You know what I mean? But I definitely hadn't planned on doing bids and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, anyway, but at the time, it was like, yo, it was free money. You know what I'm saying? Like, even nice guys were selling. You know what I mean? So, anyway, that's what led me to go to school. So, I went to school, graduated. You know what I'm saying? But while I was on the block, I was hanging out with the guards. The guard wasn't selling, but he was hanging out with me because, you know, we had a pocket full of money, and I always knew New York City. Like I said, I've been going, like, I got family in the Bronx, Manhattan. So as little kids, we was going back for New York. And then on my own, my man C Law, we would go at, you know, like when I was young, Saturday afternoon, we would go to Manhattan, walk around Times Square, record shops, you know what I mean? Because, you know, hip hop was growing. You know what I mean? I was 12 in like 1980. You know what I'm saying? So hip hop was, you know what I mean, like in its birthing stages. You know what I'm saying? So, and I was from a town, like Plainfield, New Jersey, real quick. Plainfield, New Jersey is um, like the claim to fame is Parliament Funkadelic, right? The original members of Parliament Funkadelic. They started in Plainfield on Plainfield Avenue and 4th Street. That's where they used to hang. You know what I'm saying? That's where George Clinton was in Plainfield. He was a barber. So, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I said Plainfield got its own vibe. It's not like the Ohio players, the Commodores, you know what I mean? They had funk, like P-Funk. That's why I got my name, P-Funk City G, because Plainfield is considered P-Funk City. And then, you know, in the 80s, there was DJ Cheese. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and that was my partner in crime for a lot of years. But that's a whole book. You know what I mean? That I may delve into at some point. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, Cheese was known, he was the first DMC champion, you know what I mean? And he won it, he was the first DMC champion that won it through cutting and scratching, doing hip hop. You know what I mean? Because before it was like, you know, niggas mixing the records in and boom, 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 then putting up another disco, boom, boom. You know what I mean? They got the same beat, but Cheese was like, cutting and scratching, cutting and scratching. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, he well known. He in the Hip Hop Hall of Fame, the Source Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, we grew up hearing about him as a teenager. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was in elementary school, I heard about him because he was a year or two. He was my sister's grade. You know what I'm saying? So I would hear about him, like, you know, having turntables in the lunchroom, cutting and scratching and playing music. You know what I mean? So cats couldn't wait to get to, you know what I mean, get to the next level of school. But anyway, he was well known. And so Plainfield had a lot of DJs because we seen the success. He was riding around town in limousines. He'd be, you know, hosting the show in Elizabeth at the roller rink, or you know what I mean. So you know what I mean. Like I've been hearing his name. So you know what I'm saying. But we had eventually became partners. You know what I mean? And cool, best friends. You know what I'm saying? Because he was the dark-skinned version of me, I was light-skinned version of him. We just two short, street smart dudes who loved music. You know what I'm saying? And I had some business skills. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I was able to take our shit to another level. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew how to talk to the white man, get the clubs. You know what I mean? Whatever. You know what I mean? Take care of the business shit that niggas don't want to take care of. You know what I mean? I took care of that. You know what I'm saying? But this video getting long, so I'm gonna cut it short. But this is, you know what I mean? You know, I forgot the point I was getting ready to make to tie this in. You know what I'm saying? But Plainfield is a special place in that P-Funk and, you know, DJ Cheeks. Those was like the claims of fame. You know what I'm saying? So I was playing music. I had always been a musician. You know what I'm saying? I had a drum set from Toys R Us, a $35 drum set, like when I was, you know, like I can't even remember. And then, you know what I mean? Then, you know, turning up the buckets, playing with, you know what I mean, wood, sticks. You know what I'm saying? And so that just translated and snowballed into me, like, you know, finding the record, you know, instrument stores. And, you know what I mean? Going and saving up money, because like I said, we was always hustling. You know what I mean? We was always making money. You know what I'm saying? We was selling rugs, we would sell anything, get some money. Not a lot of money, but at the time, but enough money to get to, you know, buy a sub. We call them subs in Jersey, but they call them Heroes in New York and Hoagies at other places. You know what I'm saying? But we was able to get them sandwiches. You know what I'm saying? And chips and shit without, you know, since mommy and daddy, it was, you know what I mean? You know, they both was working, but, you know, cats ain't, you know, have extra money, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, we had to hustle to get all of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? But, so that's what led to me going to music school. So, you know what I mean? And so while I'm on the block, I'm dealing with the guards, you know what I mean? Hanging out with the guards, you know, we running. Wakil had us, you know, and his crew, but Wakil, everybody, you know, the world know Wakil. They was guards, you know what I'm saying? And so before he went down to Morehouse and did his thing in Morehouse, you know, he was hanging out with me. You know what I'm saying? You know, he was hanging out probably with other people, but like, you know, by that time, like I said, me and Chiefs were partners, so we was moving crazy. Like we was moving 3, 4 cars deep. You know what I mean? When we was going to the club, it'd be 7, 12 cars deep. You know what I'm saying? But at that, like, but just on a regular, like, like Friday night, going over to Manhattan. You know what I mean? I had to be in the lead car, telling the nigga make the left, make the right, telling the nigga where to go. You know what I'm saying? And it'd be me, Kill, and whoever he. You know what I'm saying? I might be in the back seat. You know what I'm saying? But it was like, you know what I mean? Like, yo, make a left, make a right. And then he would have us in Harlem at the mosque. You know what I'm saying? We would be going to see Minister Farrakhan videos. You know what I'm saying? I mean, not videos, but like speeches. Like he'd be somewhere else, but they transmitting his speech. You know what I mean, in the mosque. And so we'd be in the mosque. You know what I'm saying? Or we like, over in Harlem, like a Fifth Avenue, go to Africa House and get like, you know what I mean? This when the man, what you call them shit? Them things that we used to wear back in the days, the black things with the leather medallions. We used to get the medallions, you know what I mean, and all of that. So we was always like, you know what I mean, back and forth from New York. So while we riding and shit, the guards is building. Matter of fact, I ain't gonna get into that because I don't know. I gotta ask why Kill. Can I talk about that? But he was always around me, and I was in the game heavy. You know what I'm saying? So we'd be up in Harlem, and you know what I mean, and we just be chilling, waiting, and you know what I mean. He building with some guard like we got 140th in Hamilton. You know what I mean, waiting for my man. You know what I mean, from up the block to bring it to the park. You know what I mean, the guard building, and he ain't had nothing to do with the game. We would just be hanging out. You know what I'm saying? And he was never judgmental. Wakil was never judgmental. You know what I mean? Wakil is the God. You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't have knowledge self without Wakil. But we'd be like 140. And there's like a lot of guards in Harlem. And he'd be building on this and that. And I'd be listening to the conversation. And I was like, damn, this guy. Like, he over here dropping on niggas. You know what I mean? In Harlem, like Harlem, New York was like, the superheroes, you know what I'm saying? He like, you know what I mean, sunning them niggas with his information. You know what I mean? So anyway, once I started doing bids, you know what I mean, that's when I asked the question, like, yo, please reveal to me, because I was like I said, I believe in the witnesses, the teachings. You know what I'm saying? I said, yo, I prayed and said, yo, reveal to me the truth. Who is God? You know what I'm saying? Is it your own witness? Or is it a law? You know what I'm saying? And it was revealed to me, you know what I mean? What I saw, you know what I mean? Which was the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. But, so Wakil put the seed, you know what I'm saying, through example. You know what I mean? Like, the Wakil wouldn't like be like, yo, God, you need to do your lessons and all. Nah. It was watching him, you know what I'm saying? And like watching him grow. So that by the time I graduated school and got an internship, I met the God Divine Element. That's who gave me my 1 through 10. You know what I'm saying? The ones I got the 1 through 10, you know what I mean? Me and him, like, we had to go our separate ways because of business, you know what I'm saying? But that's a whole nother thing, you know what I'm saying? But that's my brother, you know what I'm saying? He's like a best friend, you know what I'm saying? So that's another chapter that I'm going to get into. You know what I mean? At the appropriate time. Divine Element from Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? They call it Medina. You know what I'm saying? But we still working together. We got music out. You know what I'm saying? Working on the album right now. You know what I'm saying? But this is the mindset. You know what I mean? That led up to me leaving America. You know what I'm saying? Because now I had knowledge of self, but I had the lessons. You know what I'm saying? The lessons taught us that the earth belongs to the black man. We the original people of the planet Earth. No need to look further for a God that you can't see. Right? Deal with the God that you can see and prove. Because, you know what I mean, the Nation of Islam, under the teachings of Elijah Muhammad, we have to prove everything. We just can't be saying, da da da, boom, 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 and people won't believe it. No, we gotta be able to proven scholastically. It's a I don't want to say religion, but they'll say it's a religion. They'll say, you know, the Muslims, the Nation of Islam will say it's a religion. Okay, so it's a religion of mathematics. You know what I'm saying? Now the gods don't say it's a religion. What the gods teach, the nation of gods on earth, the 5%ers, and all of that, it's not a religion. It's a way of life. It's a culture. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, this is the mindset. Like, you know, once the teacher, I got the teacher, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, it was a wrap. It was a wrap because my mind was calibrated now. You understand what I'm saying? I wasn't like dealing with a mystery God anymore. You know what I mean? I was dealing with, so like when we dealing with mystery God, we think that it's a whole different mental. It's hard to compare, you know what I'm saying, dealing with mystery God and dealing with the true and living God. You know what I'm saying? But I can show you better than I can tell you. Because, you know, the thing about, you know, the Nation of Islam is about being an example. You know? So anyway, so this is the mindset that brought me to, once I, you know what I mean, in 2007, because I'm gonna cut up from like 99 to 2007. Alright? So, I met Divine in 96, 97, probably was 97. You know what I mean? I was an intern on a session. He came in and, you know, on a session with another artist, the God Mad Radical. You know what I'm saying? Who's, you know what I mean? Dear friend now, you know what I mean? And a featured artist. We got records out too. Crazy. And, you know what I mean? We building that his brand. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, Divine was, you know, Mad Rad was a part of Camouflage, a rap, you know what I mean, group called Camouflage or something Camouflage. That was the intern on it. They came in. So Divine didn't really have nothing to do with the sessions except he was there with his man. So I was an intern, and my strength for being an intern, like most interns ain't allowed in the room, but I would be in the room because I, you know, like I said, I was street smart, so I talked the language of the rappers because at this time it was like white engineers, white assistants, you know what I mean, that didn't understand the people, they didn't understand the culture, the lingo, nothing. And fortunately for Queen Latifah, because Queen Latifah recorded her first few albums there, a giant recording studio. That's where I was interning, giant recording studio, right? Yeah. Queen Latifah came to Doug Pell, my mentor and the owner of Giant Recording Studios, which is, he closed down and did some huge things after Giant Recording Studios. But he told, Queen Latifah told Doug Pell, yo, if you want me to record another album in this studio, you're going to have to get some black faces around here. So her doing that led to me getting hired. You understand what I'm saying? Salute Queen Latifah. You know what I'm saying? But so that's how I got hired and was put in place to meet the God Divine element. So he from Brooklyn, you know what I mean? Medina with the gods is meaner, you know what I mean? Nah, the gods, you know, I forget how he said it. The gods is meaner and grass is greener, something like that. But you know, Brooklyn, you know what I mean? Like Brooklyn is probably like Compton of the East Coast. It don't get no funkier. You know what I'm saying? Like the Bronx is rough too. The Bronx, don't get me wrong, the Bronx is rough. But yo, something about Brooklyn, you know what I'm saying? Brooklyn is, you know what I mean? It's real camp. I'll say that. You know what I'm saying? I love Brooklyn. And anyway, like I said, me and my son is in. Me and my son is in. You know what I mean? In the Caribbean right now. Grown, you know, raising my son. When we come back to the States, we're gonna be either in Brooklyn or the Bronx. But that's why I got, you know what I'm saying, like the mathematics. You know what I'm saying? And then, so now I know who the earth belongs to. You know what I'm saying? So once I came, you know, once I got that, like all my friends, you know what I mean, was elevated. Like, you know what I mean? Because the girls doing something, nigga with knowledge of self is always doing something. You know what I'm saying? And so now I'm armed with this. And I'm doing the music. I, eventually became an audio engineer. I worked for Bad Boy Music at Daddy's house. You know what I mean? So I was working on records with G-Dep, Shine. Shout out to Shine. Salute Shine. I love Shine. Shine is a special artist. Sherry Dennis, 112, like, J-Lo. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me, the wind is blowing. But and then eventually going on to like working at Chung King. You know what I'm saying, with Swiss Beats, Nori, like everybody, Angie Stone, like, you know what I mean, Babyface. And so you know what I'm saying, like in '99, because all right. So I'm working at Chung King 2001. Dead Prez. I was working with Dead Prez in 2001 at Chung King Studios when the 9/11 happened. You know what I'm saying? Actually, I was supposed to work that Monday. You know what I'm saying? That Sunday night and going into Monday. But it was like, I had been exhausted. Like, Dead Prez, they worked hard and long hours. I was exhausted. I couldn't go in. You know what I'm saying? So they got somebody else to do it. But then, you know what I mean, like life changed after that. You know what I'm saying? Like New York changed. It was different. It wasn't sexy anymore. Like New York just was like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Now it's like, you thinking about Bible prophecies and, you know what I mean, the collapse and all of that. It just wasn't, you know what I'm saying? So I stopped doing the engineering and focused on production. Now I know how they make records. You know what I'm saying? So now let me learn, like get some artists. You know what I mean? Master doing beats. And so, and me and Divine was, Divine had a studio in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? So I was, I worked, in his studio for about a year. And it's like, we just couldn't catch no momentum because the game was different at that time. That time you had to go to like basically you had to go to the white man at some point. You know what I mean? For distribution, manufacturing or something. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I came back to Jersey. JJ Cheese was just getting home from, prison, doing a bid. You know what I mean? We linked up. You know what I mean? Like I said, I had the plan. You know what I'm saying? And he had the name. You know what I mean? And I've always been like, you know what I mean? Like in the cut. Like I don't want to be like, and trust me, all of this is unnatural for me. You know what I'm saying? But it's just for me to get to the next level, I gotta come out of my comfort zone and do things that I'm not comfortable with. And this is part of it. Because when you're working behind somebody, you're at the mercy of them. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want my career to be, in the hands of somebody else. I'm going to take full control, even if I got to get out here. And instead of having an artist with the hot record and showing them what to do and guiding their career, no. It's better for me to be an example. I was supposed to do a podcast interviewing another artist today, and that fell through. You know what I mean? So instead of collapsing the day, I'm sitting here in front of the mic. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, the God Divine, he's the one who, when I was an intern at Giant, he would come in after the studio, after the session, like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. The artist is leaving, we could work in the studio. So he would come into the studio and record. So that's how I learned how to make beats and engineer and all of that. You know what I'm saying? And I refined it. So by 1999, Cheech came home, and it was like, alright, let's, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, yo, God, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, like we've been friends since 17. You know what I'm saying? So like by 99, that's 10 years, you know what I mean, or so later, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, I know some shit about the game, God, because he was making records. DJ Cheese was making records, you know what I mean? Like he's like a big brother to me. He's about a year and a half older than me. Like I say, he was in my class with my older sister. So he was making records. He had records like King Cut, Coast to Coast, you know what I mean? And he did a lot of music, Sun City, you know what I mean? Scratching, Run DMC was talking about him, and here we go when you talk about the DJ from the Valley Below, you know what I mean? He was well known. Duke Booty was his manager, who I'm not even going to get into that because Duke Booty returned to the Essence, so I'm not going to say nothing negative. But he didn't get his just due, and he didn't, you know, he was like, you know, anyway. So when he came home, it was like, all right, so with God, if I give him this information that I know, that's going to take his thing to another level. So we started doing mixtapes, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, you know, overseeing it because I know how to produce records now, you know what I'm saying? So we making the mixtapes, but it's like, it's his ear. Like he doing like, you know, his thing, and I'm like, you know, cutting and doing blends together and all of that, DJ and all of that. And then what I would do is I would record artists and then mix them into the, you know what I mean, like doing beats. And then record like True Savior. Shout out to God, True Savior. He returned to the Essence a few years back, so rest in power to the God. You know, we had him from Brooklyn. I met him through Divine. So when I came back to Plainfield, like, you know what I mean, like niggas already knew. Like once I fuck with a nigga, they like, yo, he know what he doing. Like, yo, G, what you need? And you know what I mean? And so that's what it was with Sage. So he was in Plainfield living. We had a house on 1655 West 2nd Street, across from Rufus Demolition. We had a studio, you know what I mean, in the basement house and everything. So we was like, you know what I mean, recording, making, you know, hot things. But like I said, at that time, you had to take your material to a white person, you know what I mean, and they gotta love it and take it, you know what I mean, take it to the next level. So I did that. So I was started making tapes. Cheese caught another bid, another conspiracy. You know, it wasn't conspiracy charge, but he was, you know, he just caught another bid. Fucked the whole business up. So anyway, that's why I say, yo, that like the making records and that street shit do not go hand in hand. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so I think he caught the bid around 2002. Something like that. So now I got to figure out, you know what I mean, like what to focus on. So I started, you know what I mean, like, doing a whole bunch of projects, you know what I'm saying, but nothing that took off. But I did some, you know, engineering with some great artists and working and building and learning more. So, but what happened is I was keeping in touch with Doug Pell, and in 2004. You know what I mean? He told me, he said, yo, master branding. Learn everything you know about branding. So from 2004 to 2007, I'm studying, going to the library. You know, because like I said, like at that time, 2007, 2004, it wasn't like now, you could just Google everything. You know what I mean? Not, at least I didn't know how to do it. So I go to the library, you know what I mean, and all of that, study. About marketing, businesses, because I always was able to like incorporate a business and all of that, but I didn't understand the marketing, you know what I'm saying? So I was studying the marketing. So by 2007, I'm down on 4th and Prescott, and Mr. Max, everybody in Plainfield know the Max and the Mac Boys and Pumpkin Mac, Pumpkin put it together, love you Pumpkin, love you. You know what I'm saying? Because anyway, make a long story short, that's a whole nother chapter. But she hooked it up with her father, where, you know what I'm saying, I could move the studio into the base, you know, into their thing. So we had the apartment upstairs and the studio downstairs at the Mac, you know what I mean, office. You know what I'm saying? So everybody in Plainfield knows, you know what I mean, the Macs and, you know, all of the properties, you know what I'm saying, all of that. So we were fortunate enough to get some love. So at this time now, everybody's selling CDs. You know what I'm saying? So now you don't got to make a record and get the, you know what I mean, the money and, you know, go to like a $1,000 a day studio, because now it's Pro Tools. I learned Pro Tools. I mastered Pro Tools through Bad Boy. Puffy was the first, you know what I mean, like artist to, you know, make a whole album on Pro Tools. So now you don't need the 2-inch tape machines. 2-inch tape machines at that time were like $30,000 a machine. And so that's for 24 tracks. So for 2 machines, you needed 2 Ataris, MTRs, or a Studer. You know what I'm saying? So $30,000 or better. $60,000 for 48 tracks. And Puff changed the game with the Pro Tools. And fortunately, I was there. I was working on Pro Tools. You know what I'm saying? And I know Pro Tools. So, so now we recording, you know what I mean, in the basement, making records, and then printing the CDs, doing all the artwork. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was like, and I always tell cats, like them CDs in the CD era, you go to the Office Mac or wherever, get some blank CDs. The Memorex was the best. Get the, for me, from my experience. So I get the Memorex, and I used to tell cats, these CDs, these just are empty crack bottles. And the rap and the music is the crack. So we get these empty CDs and put the crack in the bottles and sell these motherfuckers. So I was selling them to the barbershops, you know what I'm saying? The hood shops, you know what I mean? Like Shakur's, Rob's store, you know what I mean? In Plainfield, you know what I mean? And so, you know what I mean? So now we grinding, you know what I'm saying? We grinding, but make a long story short, the niggas I was dealing with then, they got caught up in the Fed, you know, because I was on 3rd and Prescott, so I was dealing with, you know what I mean, niggas around there. I don't want to say the name because, like I said, they don't know I'm doing this shit, you know what I mean? But they was hot, you know what I'm saying? But I'll say some names that was some of the hot MCs, you know what I'm saying, was Frank White, you know what I mean? He was the star. He was the star, you know what I'm saying? And Raleigh was the leader, you know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? Like, I always deal with the leader of the crew. You know what I'm saying? Because when you deal with the leader, then, you know what I'm saying, like, everything else gonna fall in. You know what I'm saying? And Frank White was a star. You know what I mean? There was a whole bunch of other cats, super duper talented cats. You know what I'm saying? Super duper talented cats. You know what I mean? And we still got some stuff, you know what I mean, out there, like on the internet, SoundCloud and all of that. So now the game's starting to change. We don't gotta take it to the white man now. We can take it straight from the studio, burn the CD, put it in the stores. You know what I'm saying? But the thing was, like, there was something missing. I just didn't know. I know how to make records, but I didn't know how to take care of business. You know what I'm saying? Like the strategy. So I went to Gibbs College in 2007. And that changed my life. It changed how I looked at life. Because I learned about supply and demand, and more importantly, liabilities and assets. So I understood why I wasn't, like, you know what I mean, where I wanted to be. Because I had too many liabilities. You know what I'm saying? I had assets, but the liabilities outweighed the assets. You know what I mean? On top of other things, you know what I'm saying? It was like globalization, and like I said, like at that time, before like 2007, 2009, you had to have a relationship with a white person who knew this person to get it to the publishing company or to the radio or to the manager, or, you know what I'm saying? After that, you don't have to. And it's like with the game now, you don't have to. You don't need a major, you don't need, you know what I mean? Nothing in between you and the people. Your brand, your market. You can just take it straight to that market. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but now with how they got it now is because the cat's not really listening to CDs. So now it's the streaming services. So right now it's like that's how they controlling the game, because you got to trust Spotify and Apple to be honest with their numbers. You know what I'm saying? So come to find out, Spotify not accurate with their numbers. You know what I'm saying? Like they just got a certain budget that they pay everybody. It's not like this person got this, that got that, and this raised this much money, and we're gonna give them their fair share. No, whether you made 1,000 or 1,000,000 views, it's coming out of that one bucket, that one pot. You see what I'm saying? And on top of that, you have to do marketing, and the marketing comes from YouTube. You know what I mean? Like when you see the skip ads on it, that marketing, Instagram and Facebook, TikTok, you know what I mean? The major platforms right now. So you still got to go to them, and now they have to they have to say, okay, like it passes the screening test, so you the market. So it waters the whole game down. You know what I mean? So now I have my own website. You know what I mean, and all of that. So I use the social media marketing, but now instead of trying to get them to go to Spotify to listen or YouTube to listen and blowing up there, I'm paying people to spend time on these platforms. Whereas like now, my whole focus is unadulterated, uncut P-Funk, and you can get it on my website, pfunkcity.com. All right. So now I'm going to school in 2007 for business. Right? I go to school for business and I learn about, what I needed to learn about. And the course that I took was e-commerce. You know what I'm saying? So now I know how to run a business and all the administrative stuff from a computer. Microsoft, spreadsheets, Microsoft Word is very important because you got to write press releases, documents, PDFs, business briefs. It just changed the whole game. So we running it corporate like AT&T. You know what I'm saying? Because my older sister, she was an executive secretary at AT&T, and she used to do all that stuff for me. But now I can do it myself. So anyway, now I understand business, understand about assets and liabilities, and my whole life is a liability. And I come with a associate's degree, graduated with an associate's degree. And I graduate in December 2008, right when Obama had ran for president and won. You know what I mean? And his inauguration was January 21st. I came to Jamaica. I went to Jamaica on January 22nd. You know what I'm saying? Now, I wasn't even going to go because, I had, when you get a student loan and all of that. So once, say if you get a student loan for $20,000, you only use
P Funk City G.